Episode 314. That's What Friends Do. Melissa called Chris. "I've managed to get closer to Alex," she said. "I don't think he's wary of me anymore, but give me a few more days to make sure." "That's good," Chris said. He was impressed by Melissa's efficiency, and he felt that he had made the right choice in getting her involved. "Chris, haven't you wondered why Alex is working as a security guard?" she asked. "Well, I found out that it's because his girlfriend is here." "Oh?" Chris asked. He was surprised, but he didn't really care. "You should work faster to get Alex on side. I want to act as soon as possible, and then I can marry you and make you part of the Stedman family." "Yes, Chris," she said. "I'll hurry." The next day, Melissa got up early and went downstairs. When she stepped outside, she bumped into Alex, who was on his way back from the canteen. "Good morning, Alex," Melissa said, smiling at him. "I want to talk to you," Alex said. "Come over here a minute." He led her over to a tree and then turned to face her. "I don't want Debbie to know what happened between us in New York," he said. "And you need to know that I love Debbie, so there's no chance of you and me being together." Melissa knew Alex was afraid Debbie would find out about their affair. Alex had no idea that Melissa had faked the whole thing to become Alex's wife and gain money and power. Now that he was merely a security guard, Melissa wasn't interested in him anyway, so Debbie could have him. "I can pay you compensation," Alex said, wondering if he could ask the Clifton family for money to pay Melissa off. "No, I've already forgotten all about it," she assured him. "I know you and Debbie are together, and I wish you well. You can't be earning much as a security guard, so you'd better keep the money." Melissa knew Alex wouldn't be able to give her much, and she didn't really care for such paltry amounts. Once she married Chris, she would never be short of money again. She left Alex and went to class. She knew Debbie was the key to getting close to Alex. If she could make friends with Debbie, then Alex wouldn't be a problem. She made her way to Debbie's class, sneaked in, sat beside her. Callisto and Luna scowled at Melissa. "It's you," Callisto said, curling her lip in disgust. "Why are you sitting with us? Go away." Melissa was surprised to see the two women who knew Alex and Debbie. If Debbie hadn't been there, she would have yelled at them, but she had to behave herself. "Callisto, what's gotten into you?" Debbie asked, looking back and forward between Callisto and Melissa. "Melissa, I'm sorry about Callisto. She's just a little too protective." "Debbie, why are you talking to her?" Callisto asked, confused. "She's awful. If you don't believe me, then ask Luna." "Callisto, I behaved badly yesterday, and I apologize," Melissa said, keeping her tone meek. "Debbie and I are friends, so please don't come between us." "Debbie, is she really your friend?" Callisto asked, looking at Melissa and narrowing her eyes. "She's not worth it. I think she has ulterior motives for being friends with you and Mr. Alex." She just knew that Melissa was not a good person. The teacher gave a fake cough, and Debbie realized that they had been speaking too loudly. All the students were staring at them. "This is a classroom, not your home," the teacher said. "Since you're so busy chatting, I assume you completely understand this subject, and you shouldn't have any trouble answering my question. Stand up." Debbie, Callisto, Luna, and Melissa all stood up. The classes were too large for the teacher to know all the students, so he did know that Melissa was from another class. Debbie felt like she was about to die of embarrassment. She had always hated being called on in class. Callisto and Luna glared at Melissa. "What is a mode?" the teacher asked. He had been explaining modes a moment ago, but they hadn't heard him because they had been talking. Mode? Debbie thought, desperately trying to remember. Callisto and Luna had no idea because they rarely paid attention in class. The students began to rifle through their books, looking for the correct definition. "I don't know why I bother," the teacher said, shaking his head. "Come and see me after class. You'll be getting a failing grade for this module. Sit down." A mode specifies which notes can be used and indicates which have special importance, Melissa said. It provides a theoretical framework for the melody. Thanks to her comprehensive knowledge of music theory, she had answered correctly. The teacher and other students all looked at her in surprise. "What's the difference between a major and a minor chord?" the teacher asked. Sure, she wouldn't get this one right. "The difference is in the third note in the scale," Melissa said confidently. "A major chord contains the first, third, and fifth notes of the major scale. In a minor chord, the third note is moved down by half a step." She walked up to the podium, picked up a marker, and wrote out the A major and A minor scales on the whiteboard. "Since I've answered your questions, you shouldn't punish us," Melissa said, handing the marker pen to the teacher. "Fine," the teacher said, looking a little shocked. "Go back to your seat. But no more talking." Melissa had clearly understood the lesson, so there was nothing left to say. The other students applauded as Melissa went back to sit next to Debbie. After class, Debbie turned to Melissa. "Thank you so much," she said. "If it hadn't been for you, I would have failed that class." "That's what friends are for," Melissa said, grinning at her. "I don't trust her," Callisto said, scowling. "I still think she's up to something." She wasn't happy that Melissa acted differently in front of Alex and Debbie, and she didn't like the way Melissa was getting close to Debbie. She could tell something wasn't right. "Callisto, what's wrong with you today?" Debbie asked, a little angry. Melissa had helped them, and Callisto was still complaining about her. "It's okay," Melissa said, pretending to be reasonable. "Callisto and I got off to a bad start. I don't blame her, and I'm sure we can get along." Her sickening display had Callisto biting her lip as she fought down the urge to slap Melissa.